So yeah. So the next part, we get to this place where, I spent 1 year single. Every church that I went to was teaching about singleness. Like the church I was going to was teaching about singleness. I think Mike Todd had a sermon about singleness. We was visiting other churches. Everywhere I went, they was talking about singleness. So I was like, okay, God, I'm gonna be single. So I devoted 1 year to God. Now, of course, I've been single since then. I have dated, but yeah. Now, let me say this: your testimony don't have to be mine. You can very much so get married if that's in God's will. You do not have to be single as long as I've been. But I always tell people, coming out of that lifestyle, it is good to have a single season. I knew for me specifically that there was a lot of things that the Lord needed to work out of me, and He didn't need no interference, no distractions. My attention had to be on Him. So you don't have to be single as long as I did. I don't want my years of singleness to scare you. But there was a time during that time I could not imagine myself being single. Being single was hard at that time. It was hard, and I couldn't imagine myself being without a woman either. I always had an honest relationship with God. I'll talk about this a little bit more later too. But I would tell God, I was like, man, I don't know, God. I don't know if I could ever just not date a woman again. Like I was honest with him. So, but I told him I was like that 1 year. I'm gonna give you this year. I didn't date men. I didn't date women. I just focused on him. And so it's important to understand at that moment. Of course, I did not stop liking women. But like I said, my promise to God was that I would come to you before I go out and do anything. Before I take somebody, before I make a mistake, I'm going to come to you. And so what that looked like, if I was in a place of like, God, I really miss my ex, I would go to him first. And in those moments, he would help me understand what I was missing. He helped me understand that it's not the person you miss, it's what they gave you. So you miss comfort, right? You miss attention, and a lot of it is just instant gratification. It's like you send a hey, what's up text because you want some attention. The hey big head text because you not getting the attention that you want, right? Or whatever you searching for. And so for me, I was searching for comfort, I was searching for intimacy and connection. And so I'll touch on this a little bit more later too, but also having to delay gratification, that you're going to have to be patient and you're going to have to learn how to find what you're searching for in Christ. It's delayed gratification. I'm not pleasing my flesh in hopes that in return I'm getting something much more greater in the future. And of course that's intimacy with God. But I remember this one moment. And let me say this too, which is funny because my best friend was actually getting married at that time. And so I was in a season of singleness. She was about to get married. And it was hard. But I just remember this one moment where I was like crying. I was just in the bathroom and I was just crying. I really missed my ex. And one of the first times, this was probably the first time that I actually heard God speak, and He was like, "What do you feel?" And I told Him what I felt. I was like, "Man, I don't know who I'm gonna talk to, who I'm gonna run to now. Like she was my rock, she was my every." And as I was saying it, I was like, "What? Like my what, y'all? Maybe y'all like I don't know." But for me, I was like, "My rock and my everything." And so it made me pause because at that moment I realized like, God, I made her something that you should have been. And I wasn't in love. Like we wasn't in love with each other. I had love for her, but I wasn't in love. And so I was just like, what? Like it scared me. And so at that moment I knew like, okay, you need to be my rock, God. You need to be my everything. And like I said, it's delayed gratification. To pray and read your Bible every day, to spend intimate time with God, it's not the same as going out and finding a person or texting your ex. Stuff like that, that's instant gratification. You get the feeling instantly, but also it's shallow and it's not real. It's false intimacy. So that means it really doesn't, it's a temporary hold. It doesn't fill the void. Because honestly, only God can fill that void that you're searching for. You searching for a connection. You searching for intimacy. You searching for validation, whatever it is. Only God, He's the only one that can get that can cover the all of that. So throughout that year, I just went to God. I was just faithful, and like I said, of course, one year ended up being many years that I was single. But I remember even in 2019. So at this moment, I have context for what I'm searching for. So I'm not just like, oh, I miss women or artists, like once you have context for whatever that sin was, and I say this too, like when you give your life to Christ, the sin, whatever sin drove you, far apart from him, what drove you doesn't go away, right? So it's like you have a void in your heart. And so now God has to fill that void. He has to heal, he has to repair, he has to renew, and it takes time. It's not just an instant feeling. And so, but what drew me was intimacy. And so throughout those years, I still desired intimacy greatly. Like I still wanted a person. I didn't know how to articulate. Now I know how to articulate it. Um, but I didn't know how to articulate what I was searching for. So I would just be like, God, I remember this person. We used to FaceTime, we used to talk on the phone. I really missed that. And I remember in that moment, God helped me understand. He was like, maybe this is something that you're going to have to learn how to seek me for and only me, because he helped me understand that, what if you get married one day? Even if you marry the most amazing husband, that person is still human. So he might love you, he might be a great person, but he's still human, meaning that he may have off days. He may have off seasons. And what you don't want to do, you don't want to build a codependency on a person, and then when that person doesn't live up to the ideal life that you desire, then that's how infidelity happens. Meaning that you go out and now it's like I'm going to seek and search for what I feel like I'm missing in this marriage. And so when the Lord helped me understand that, he was like, basically, if I'm not enough for you, nobody is enough. And I know that's hard for a lot of us to swallow, because it's like, no, well, I'm human. And typically as humans, we do need affection. We need, these things we need. But when we make an idol out of it, and we constantly seeking for it, we constantly searching for it, we put that thing on a pedestal and we put God to the side. It's like, well, God, I'm human, so I need affection. I mean, what I'm gonna do? And it's like, yeah, you do need affection, but come to me first. I give you people that will give you friendly affection, and then you won't idolize it so much, and it won't be a thorn in your side. But I was missing a person that I dated in my past, and I was just like, I just want someone to talk to. I want someone to ask how I'm doing and mean it. And if I'm being honest, y'all, that's something I still deal with. And so let me just to give you context to where I'm at right now. I know for a fact I don't want to be with a woman. But like I said, the things that you deal with, and so I've always desired intimacy, right? I just had a session with my therapist this week. I say it was like a breakthrough session, man. It's like she helped me understand um that really what you're searching for, you want someone that you can be undone around. And what that means is that, how we say we want a person, your person is the person that you could just be. It's like I don't have to have a mask on. You know what I'm saying? Typically we don't like being around people that we gotta wear a different face for. You want the person that you could come home to, like Viola Davis, and take that wig off, take your nails off, relax around. And that's typically what we search for. You want someone that you could be undone around. You want a person, someone that you don't have to be made up for. I don't have to put on a face for you. You don't have to front for them. You could just be yourself. And so I say my therapist, she helped me with that. I was like, yeah, that's what I want. And just to help y'all with that, allow God to be your person. Now, because we are human, and God did create us for a relationship with him, but also for other people. Relationships are blessings from God. So the second thing he told me, he said, be patient. Now, let me be honest. I have made mistakes in the past where I've built very codependent relationships, non-sexual, non-romantic. I have built non-romantic codependent relationships in the past. And what that means is that it's like just kind of get too close to people and you put them on a pedestal that they shouldn't be. And to keep you from making the same mistakes that I did is what the Lord told me is number one, go to him first. Allow God to be your person. The second thing is now what he told me is to be patient, right? Again, you don't want to build those the thing about codependent relationships, they happen really fast. That's how you know it's usually unhealthy, is it's a fast attachment. It's like we met on Monday and by Friday we best friends. By next week I can't live without you. Be weary of fast attachments. And so go to God first, be patient, and then something that he helped me do is now ask him and pray like, Lord, are there people in my life that you have given me to be close to, but maybe I've written off? And sometimes it may mean that you may have to have a hard conversation. Like, hey, I love you, but I feel like I can't be undone around you. I feel like I can't be myself around you. Like, you don't accept me for my true self. And typically, if you have anyone in your life like that, eventually you have to have a hard conversation because the relationship won't move. It'll be neutral. Or if you don't have a person like that, then pray for it. Lord, I desire a friend that I could be undone around. I need somebody that I could take my mask off. And keep in mind, you're not making this person your idol. You're not making them your God. It's just simple as saying, like, God, I just wish I had someone that I could be my true self around. The reason why I touch on that too is because, like I said, a lot of us are seeking for intimacy. And like I said, I've been out of it for 7 years, but intimacy is something that you will always be thirsty for. We were hardwired for intimacy, but first we were wired for intimacy with God first. He is the only one that can quench that thirst. Like I said, people are human. They are human. They will fall short. You will fall short. And so it's important to understand to go to God first with what you desire. And then what we're going to do, we'll build healthy, non-codependent relationship. There's a level of codependent you have to be in a relationship. Like I feel like a husband and a wife have to be codependent on each other to understand. Relationships that glorify God, friendships that glorify God. And the key is, y'all, you have to be patient. Like I said, unhealthy relationships start with fast attachments. You notice, like, anybody that typically you got close to fast, the relationship ended horrible. At least for me, it did. It's like anybody that we got super close, super fast, the relationship always kind of didn't end well. Be patient with the Lord. I just want to talk about intimacy because I know that's something that a lot of us deal with. It's like the reality is you just want to be undone around somebody. You just want someone that you can take the mask off around. Nobody wants someone that they have to be someone they're not. Nobody wants to be around that. So a lot of times it's what you're just searching for. Maybe not all y'all, but some of y'all, you just want a person. One thing that the Lord gave me, I always say he gave me a cheat code. And I tell anybody this. He gave me spiritual parents. He gave me a spiritual mom. Shout out to her. And basically I say it's a cheat code because if you're trying to navigate through this walk with Christ, I tell you, please pray. Pray for someone who can lead you. It's like the cross. You have people who you do life with, so you need community. Down across is people you lead, and up is people who lead you. So pray for people to be led by. Pray for a mentor. Pray to be discipled. So I had a spiritual mom who kind of helped me deal with some of my insecurities, who helped me deal with those things, right? I remember one time she told me, she was like, you should wear an off the shoulder shirt. I was going out with some friends and I usually I'm a t-shirt and jacket, ain't nothing wrong with wearing t-shirt and jackets, but it's just, that's all I had in my closet. And so, and Chelsea boots. Yeah. But she was like, you should wear an off the shoulder shirt. And I was like, at first I was like, no, I don't wear that. I know sometimes when we hear stuff like that, it makes us cringe. It's like, why? I'm not wearing that. I would never dress like that. But the thing about it is that it challenged me. And so one of the things that she helped me with, and the other people in my life, is you want to be confident in the things that make you different. So there are things about you that make you different from everyone else that are good, right? So if you are a woman that likes sports, you are a woman that dresses a little tomboyish, there's nothing wrong with that. But to challenge yourself means that don't put yourself in a box. You know, typically we tell ourselves like, "Oh, this is who I am. This is how I dress," based off things that people told us in our childhood or things we told ourselves. I will always see other women with off the shoulder shirts and the way they was dressed, and I would, think to myself like, "That's not me. I can't wear stuff like that." And it was like, "Why not? Why can't you wear stuff like that?" And so, long story short, I did wear it. I liked it. Initially, it was uncomfortable, but it did boost my self esteem. Try some new things. Take a risk. Go hang out with some people you usually don't hang out with. Go to an event that you usually don't go to. Wear something that you don't usually wear. Challenge yourself. Do something different. That's ultimately what pushes us to grow, is when we step outside of our comfort zone. Take a risk. Write down one risk that you're going to take in 2025. Initially, when people challenge you to step out your comfort zone, you're like, I'm not doing that. I'm not dressing like that, but try it. You never know. It will boost your self-esteem and it will help you. But I say it's just a good balance of being confident in who you are, but also challenging yourself with new ideals and new beliefs. Like I said, I didn't wear stuff like that because of what somebody told me in fifth or sixth grade. I thought I was built like a man. So here I am, 27 and 28, not wearing certain clothes based off what somebody told me 12 years ago. I have to shift my mindset about who I thought I was, or who I told myself I was. I have to unlearn a lot of things and relearn. It's kind of like a house. The first thing that God does is He uproots the foundation. The most important part of a house is the foundation. I don't care how beautiful a house is, outside and inside. If the foundation is faulty, it will not last. So you want to get your foundation right. And that's what God is ultimately doing. The things that you put your identity in, He's shifting that. He's making your identity to be only and solely upon Him. Simply what happened is God will shift your environment, right? So He's removing people out of your environment. A lot of people leave, a lot of relationships not work out, right? People start to pick fights with you and you'll be like, what happened? That means he's shifting your environment. Allow him to shift your environment. Some people are not bad people. They're just not going where you're going. So he wants to place you around like-minded individuals. And the second thing he's doing, of course, now he wants to shift the house, the inside, right? It's like if you live in a house or an apartment or whatever, if the outside look good, but you go on the inside and it look a little off, the cabinets are old, you got a white refrigerator, your instant thought is this house needs a lot of work. And so allow God to do the work that he needs to do. Allow him to renew your mind. Allow him to change the way that you see yourself, the way that you see other people. Typically when you go over somebody's house, right? They invite you into the living room. The living room, the kitchen, for the most part, is clean. But usually they close the door to the bedroom because the bedroom signifies intimacy. Only people that you trust or close to can come into your bedroom. So what Christ wants to do is like allow him into those parts that you don't show everybody to, that's deemed intimate or sacred. Allow him to change those areas in your life. If you don't know nothing about Jesus, I could tell you he is not a living room God. No, baby. He wants the basement, the closet that you lock. I don't know if people have closets that they lock anymore. The master bedroom is scary. But you know what else is scary? Is 5 years down the road and you still the same person. So you might as well go through the hard thing right now and allow him to do the work that's necessary. The last part of you that God will work on is the outside, like the outside of the house. The outside does matter, but it's kind of the least important, right? Your appearance, I would say, when you coming out of this lifestyle, you don't want to focus so much on it. Of course, like I said, the first thing that God wants to work on is the foundation and the inward parts of you. And then you work on the outer appearance. Like I said, the last thing that God did was that He challenged, how I dressed, how I looked, how I held myself. If you don't know how to dress, like I did. I would just look at certain women. I would be like, I like the way that she dressed, and I would make it my style. Finding your style takes time. Be confident in the things that make you different, but also challenge yourself. Remember that. Yeah. If you didn't take nothing else from this podcast, I would just say, just take this, man. Only God can satisfy you. Allow the Lord to satisfy your heart, and I mean that with everything. No one would ever love you like Christ loves you. When I said after my mom died, I was angry at God because I said no one could ever love me like my mom. But the Lord helped me and He restored me. And now I say, no, no one can ever love me like God can love me. No one can treat me as good as God can treat me. And that's my testimony. And so allow the Lord to satisfy you, accept His love, receive His love, and allow Him to renew your mind and walk this journey with Him. It's a journey. Allow Him to show you who you are in Him, man. And that's my testimony. Like I said, my prayer was that I pray that it helps somebody out there, at least parts of it. And we still here. I'm still growing. I'm still changing here. If if you feel like ain't nobody really doing that, ain't nobody. I am okay. And like I said, it's a journey. There's a few of us out here, man. We really walking this walk. So until next time, on the next episode, so we're gonna be going deeper, talking about identity and intimacy with God. So sure to tune in, subscribe to YouTube, like, follow, and share with anybody who you think may need to hear this. And yes, I pray it helped you. Until next time, people.